And this is how our day starts today. A very, very big mess. A very big project. Lots of wires, refrigeration, electrical, data hubs, communications. We have gutted the whole station, so this side is all opened up already. We're taking out all the old radios, putting in all new. And over here we got some new instruments going in as well for Victron. So the whole station is going to change face. But the real work is over here. So Luca is helping set this all up. We've been aligning where we're going to put everything, and this is all our new ICOM radios that have been sent to us for a while now, and we're just starting to work with installing them. So yeah, this is going to be a very big project, but one that's been waiting for a very long time. And can't say thanks enough to ICOM because they sent us this stuff a long time ago, but I had to put it all on pause because, well, obvious reasons I was down and not supposed to be doing any major projects. And this is a pretty major project because we have to run a lot of wires through the entire boat. So it's going to take us probably a couple of days to finish everything. But now we're going to get these all cut out into the board, and then I'll start wiring. So Luke is helping with that for the start. And then we go from there. Gracias, señor. I think it's going to look amazing when it's finished. Can't wait.
Yeah.
And we got Mommy over here making breakfast.
Uh-huh.
Thank you, Mommy.
You're welcome.
And little Richie over here having his breakfast.
Yeah, the cookie.
Hey, Richie. Oh, putting his cookies in the milk. Good cookies, buddy.
The Wawa.
Wawa. That's your milk. Yummy breakfast, huh?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And this is our first view of the roughed-in panel. Everything is just kind of sitting here. Not fastened down yet, but that is the general layout right there. So we got our SSB on the top, our AIS transceiver, our VHF, security camera monitor, and then our primary bilge pump, which is bilge 1, and its counter. That's what tells us how many times the bilge pump's gone off. And then this is the big pump, the emergency one with the alarm. So we have a high water, triggers this, and then we can know that there's a problem. So far coming along very good. Perfect. So with some of our projects nearing completion and my recovery time long since finished, now it's finally time to get back to sailing. And to start us off, we've got another full crew on board for a full month of cruising college. For that, we're going to be sailing down through the southern islands of Colombia and up into the lower islands of the San Blas in Panama. This will give us a good mix of environments and also give our new crew a taste of offshore sailing, as it will include their first overnight passage. But before we get into that, I've got a few of your questions to answer. So, one of the questions I've been getting asked a lot lately, especially given the number of people we've been having on the boat for all of these cruises we've been doing for the cruising college, is how do we manage food storage and refrigeration for so many people on board? And that's a very good question because it's a very important consideration in how we manage these trips with so many people on board. You have to have food. That's something that none of us can do without, and we need a steady flow of it on a daily basis, as you know. Now, one of my favorite things has always been refrigeration. As some of you know, I've been a fridge tech for over 30 years and able to build my own stuff, service my own stuff, keep it running, all with what I have on board. For the most part. Sometimes I need a specialty part, so it depends where I am. But one thing that is very difficult to do if you don't have adequate refrigeration is keep that much food on board for that many people in remote locations. Now, I'm not sure which way to go with this episode because it's kind of bordering between a cruising college or a tech time, but some of the products that I want to show you that are associated to this topic are definitely in a higher tech form. So let's go with tech time. This boat actually came with 2 built-in refrigeration systems, which I promptly replaced because they both ran off of 110 volt AC, which is, at that time, was useless to me. But here in the galley, we've got a fridge, and this used to be the freezer. So in here, you open this up and you see that's our main refrigeration space. And it has deep wells in both sides, down each side. Underneath here, this is our day box where we keep all the stuff we're gonna eat next. And when you take that out, there's a deep pit down there that goes down, and there's about 8 cubic feet of storage overall. It's a pretty good amount of storage space for this size of boat, I got to admit, and it did well when we were doing basic charters with a couple people on board. The freezer over in this side stopped working about 3 years ago, but we still use it just for storage space now. So when you open this one up, there's no more holding plates. I got rid of all of that because they were all dead. It was just too old a system and I didn't want to rebuild it at the time. So this is just cold storage or cool storage. We use it for bread, eggs, things like that. It keeps it about 5 degrees less than ambient room temperature, which is still nice and helps prolong the life of basic essentials. Now then, of course, when that one broke, we needed something to take its place, and I was going to replace the entire refrigeration system, but when you're talking about marine refrigeration, just the compressor and the condenser and the evaporator plates, the most basic system starts at $1,200 to $1,300, usually up around $1,400, $1,500 just for air cooled. Now, what I discovered shortly thereafter is that you can buy the 110 volt AC systems, and they're much more efficient and they're much less expensive because they make so many more of them because they're not made for boats. Boats, of course, are specialty items made in limited quantities. Fridges and freezers for houses are much less expensive. Now, we just put in this guy, which is a brand new 4.7 cubic foot fridge, and it's a dual zone. I really like this because now we have different zones if we want to just keep wine at, proper temperatures, and also keep other drinks and everything at good cold temperatures. We have a good amount of space for each one. And that's in a 110 volt system that's much more efficient than our last one. We had one that used to be here and it was about 3 cubic feet, and that system would draw about 1 kilowatt hour per day. This one, we've been running it as a test now for almost 60 days and has been averaging about 0.8 kilowatt hours per day, but with a 50% increase in interior space. That's a big improvement. Now, of course, the other factor is freezer space. We need to be able to prolong the amount of time that we can keep, frozen fish and even fruits, things like that. Like, we keep a lot of stuff in here, but you remember this cabinet right here. We built this a couple of years ago, and over there is our water system, which you can hear running now. Under here is a 5 cubic foot freezer, and this is a home style freezer as well. And we keep it just, full of whatever we find on sale at that time. And it keeps it at minus 18 degrees Celsius, which is damn cold. That's, bordering on my time in Canada, and that's why I don't live in Canada anymore. The only time I want to see that kind of cold is in there. Now, the other thing we've been using recently, we have a portable fridge that was sent to us by a company to test, and I've tested several of them before, so it was no big shock or anything like that. But I wanted to see what this company was putting out. And this system, we keep it forward in our cabin because it fits perfectly right at the foot of our bed, as you can see there now. And this is a system by BougeRV, and you can see it just sits right in here, and it actually makes a nice step, which is perfect for Richie. Richie loves it because he can get up into the bed easy. But this is also a dual zone fridge or freezer. You can keep it whatever temperature you want on either side. When you open it up, it has freezer side or fridge side or freezer side and fridge side. You can have it however you want. It's all interior lit. It's very well sealed. And there's something this one has that I never saw in any of the other ones. It has a happy wife, happy life container. Know what I mean by that? So you pull out this cage. Underneath there is a storage box specifically for ice cream. Ice cream. And it will keep it frozen hard as a rock. I've tried it, believe me. It fits right down there in the coldest well of the box. And then the cage isolates everything from it, so if you just want to pull everything out at once, you can just lift the basket out on either side. Works the same. The lid is very well sealed. It doesn't leak. We don't have any sweat spots on this thing. You can control the temperatures from whatever you want. If you want 2 degrees, 5 degrees, minus 10 degrees, anything you want on both sides. Now that, I must admit, that's been one of our handiest items that we've been using when we have that many people on board, because it gives us, well, we like to call it reserve space or backup space. Because in that particular fridge, we keep it full of fresh fruits and veggies that we want to make last as long as possible for at least over a week, so that we still have those as backup when we run out in the main fridge. And that of course gives us many advantages for having much more space for keeping stuff for longer term. So we can go more than a week or 2 weeks out in the remote islands without having to worry about where's our next stop? Is there a marina? Is there a store? Where are we gonna get our next stuff from? That's a big improvement. Now, I've been testing this fridge specifically for at least 2 months of solid runtime, and I'm gonna show you a little bit better about how this works and how we actually keep it powered when we have so many people on board. Now, I want to show you guys something else very cool about this particular system. And for that, we're going to bring it outside. But I need one more thing. I'm pretty sure a lot of you would not have any clue what I'd be doing with a backpack with a cooler. But the cool thing about this is it's designed to go to remote locations, even with camping or in the back of your truck or whatever, and powered at the location, even independent of your vehicle. Now, there's several ways you can do that with just about any portable fridge, but BougeRV has actually gone to the trouble of integrating systems that work together directly with a portable fridge. This is an actual power bank. Now, the system comes with a good assortment of different cables for different applications, including whether you're going to run it at your house with an AC socket, or if you run it off of a DC system in your car, on a campsite, wherever you happen to be, with one of these 12-volt cords. So this obviously would plug into your cigarette lighter, and the other end plugs directly into the fridge. So we'll plug this in right here. You see it says DC 12 or 24 volts, so it can take either. We just plug in that connector right there. So we'll take the power bank now, and if you look in the end of it, you'll see that it supplies several different types of connections, including 12-volt accessory. Okay, and that's the same as the cigarette lighter adapter for your car. You can plug that right in here, like so. Okay, and we have a power button here. We turn that on, and immediately up comes our display. I'm not sure if you can see it there, but it's at 95%, and the fridge should be starting up as we speak. And there it goes. I can hear the compressor just started. It's very quiet. You have to listen very closely, but it is drawing 48 watts. 46 to 48 watts. Again, I'm not sure if you can see on that little display right there. There might be a reflection, but it is drawing about 48 watts right now, and the system is running off of this little battery. And it even has mounting tray hooks here if you want to put the battery right there. So the battery would stay affixed to the side of the fridge when you're using it. Now, of course, that's a great feature, but this is a fairly small battery. It's 244 watt hours, or just under, 1/4 of a kilowatt hour of capacity in a lithium battery inside. But this thing has solar controllers, DC regulators for 3 separate outputs. It even has a 100 watt USB-C output right there. And that's cool because you can even run a laptop from this, no problem at all. Just plug it directly into the USB-C port and you're done. But that's not all. This is part of a package they build for these systems that allow you to make this thing completely independent, because this battery will probably run it for somewhere between 4 to 8 hours, depending on the ambient temperature outside and, of course, how cold you're trying to keep it. If you're trying to use it as a freezer, of course, it's going to use more power faster. If you're just trying to keep drinks cold and food cold and stuff like that, it'll probably run the system for a good portion of the day or overnight after you've recharged it. And, of course, that is the question. How do you recharge it? There is several different ways that you can recharge it, including the reverse of this, just plugging into the cigarette lighter plug of your car, and it'll recharge as you're driving. Okay, or you can plug it into your house, or you can plug it into a USB-C outlet. Anything you want, and it will charge directly right into the battery. Now, what if we want to go to a remote location and we don't have a charging source with us? Well, that's where what else is in this bag comes into play. You might be wondering what this is. I know it looks a lot like a laptop bag, but believe it or not, this is actually a very powerful, very unique solar panel. I kid you not. This is a solar panel, and not a 10 watt or a 15 watt or 20 watt or anything like that. This is a 100 watt folding solar panel. Yeah. So I'm going to bring this panel out on deck just to show you how much power there is in this for such a small size folded up. And it just keeps unfolding like an accordion. Like so. Put it like this. And like that. And there we go. That, my friends, is a 100-watt folding solar panel. I'm going to turn it around so I can run the wire back to where the power supply is. And I'll make sure it's got no shadows on it as good as possible. There's a little bit here, not much I can do about that. But now we got our wire, we'll plug that in and plug it into the power bank. Okay, so all I'm going to do is plug in our MC4 connectors, standard issue. You can plug into any solar panel. And positive first, negative. And then we've got a barrel connector that plugs directly into the side of the power bank. So right here, we plug that in. Presto, that's it. Done. Now we just wait to see when the solar charger inside takes over and discovers that there's a source plugged into it. It'll determine how much power is there and start outputting current to the battery itself and recharging. And here, if you look here now, you can see, hopefully, we're at 92%, but the system is charging 50 watts and using 43 watts to power the fridge. So we're actually generating more power from the solar panel, 61 watts now, than what the actual fridge is drawing. And look at that, I'm not sure if you can see that, but yeah, the amount of power that the fridge draws actually decreases over time once the compressor settles in. It's now down to 33 watts, and we're putting 60 watts into the battery from the solar panel. Now that's all cool, but of course the only question is, how long will it actually run the system for? Well, that's a matter of consumption versus charging. So depending on how much solar power you have available and how much power you're drawing with the fridge. But I would have to say that this system will probably run indefinitely all day with the sun out on the panels, because it's collecting more than double the power even right now. It's a nice sunny day, but still, there's still clouds in the sky, so we're not getting full optimization out of it. But I'm still getting 60 watts in and 33 watts out. So that 92% charge that it's at right now is actually going to increase over time because it's gaining power. That's cool. Now, of course, if you want to use it as something more than just for a day stop or anything like that, well, then you just need to increase the power source. So you can increase the solar panels, just plug in more solar panels. That's not going to help you get through the night. So to get through the night, you need a bigger power station itself. And that's, of course, where we can go from a small system like this with just the one folding solar panel over to a full-size system like this. And this is their Rover 2000 expandable system. Now, of course, this is a bit of a monster. They've got lots of systems in between, but I've got these two for testing. So the smallest one and the biggest one. And this is a full 2 kilowatt hour backup battery system with an expansion battery that has another 2 kilowatt hours of battery inside as well. And they're all LifePo 4 batteries. So of course, with a system like this is massive capacity, and it's got a long lifespan of at least 10 years. Even if you're cycling it daily. That is one of the advantages of these backup lithium battery systems, okay? Very, very long lifespan. And you can use it every single day from total discharge to total charge. And that's something unique from where we were even 4 or 5 years ago in battery technology. Now, of course, they're not the only ones on the market. You know, I've been testing these things for a long time, and I've got one of the brand new Bluetti systems over here as well. And I'm having a lot of fun testing this one because it's got some extra special features that I'm not going to talk about. That one deserves its own video, so we're going to leave that for a different day. Right now, we're going to focus on what we're doing right here with this package because it works unified together. And you can see that we are still running, and we're at 4 degrees Celsius here and 3 degrees Celsius there. Inside is very cold. I can tell you right now, it's very cold. It's almost at the point of freezing already. And it's still running, as you can see, from the one 12-volt cable going back to the little BougeRV battery. That, to me, is the most impressive part of the system. Just having a little battery you can put in a backpack with a folding solar panel, that's amazing. And the solar panel is actually the same technology as my solar sunshades. Okay, that's the CIGS technology batteries. They're very flexible, very unique in that they can be rolled up and stored very easily. Or in this case, of course, they can just be folded up and put in a backpack and taken with you wherever you go. And I'm pretty sure you guys remember my CIGS panels. I'm going to show you here quick up in the solar sunshade we built there a few episodes ago. And these panels, I've been beating the hell out of these panels. I don't know what to say, but they just keep working. There they are right there. There's lots of damage on them, scratches, kinks, bends, everything, even tar on some of them. And I still get full rated power out of them almost every day. I look at my charts all the time, studying the amount of output and what the maximum output rated voltage was and everything. They're just excellent panels. Of course, they're much more expensive than normal, but you get what you pay for, seriously. And this little guy is doing a bang up job for a very portable solar panel. So at the end of the day, what is the actual takeaway from this discussion? Well, I think the actual takeaway is basically the fact that when it comes to refrigeration in, well, mobile environments or fixed environments, that there's a lot of options opening up to you, whether you're looking for just a temporary use system or a backup system for power grid failure or anything like that. I mean, these systems that I have on board, they work so well in our environment, but they would work just as well in RVs or tiny homes or anything like that. And what we're really talking about, in my mind, is refrigeration systems that you can actually power with a solar system. Okay, so solar powered refrigeration basically, because as you know, all of our boat is powered entirely by solar panels. If I take you back out here, you can see that we have a lot of unobtrusive solar system on the boat. We've got all LG panels here, we got LG panels back there, and 2 more LG panels back over top of the dinghy. They're completely out of our way, so they're not a problem on board. Even the ones here, these are folding panels, so they just fold down when we go to sea if we want to. They don't have to, but they do. It depends on the sea conditions. But as far as the refrigeration systems go, household systems are so much more efficient and less expensive, again, for the reasons I stated earlier, that they produce much more of them. Okay, so you can get any system you want at literally about a quarter to a third of the price of a marine system. If you just want a dedicated marine system, then fill your boots. They're available. But you're going to be looking, as I said, about the $1,500 price range for one system, plus installation. Unless you're a very savvy guy installing your own systems, you're going to be spending at least several $100s, at least. Okay, so it's all something to keep in mind. With the residential style systems that run on 110, not only are they less expensive, but you don't require any installation unless you're going to build a cabinet around it like I did, okay, which is minimal. And that's basic cabinetry, no special skills required. So that is also a big difference. If you look at what we've put in here again, I'll show you. I mean, this new Cobalance fridge, this has been amazing so far. I'm very happy with it. I'm glad we made the upgrade, and it's doing very well after just a couple of months. The freezer has been here for 3 years and still doing perfect. And as far as home appliances go, if you remember under here, we have even installed a full-size LG laundry machine. Now, of course, that's a favorite accessory on the boat because everybody loves to be able to do their own laundry, and we did a lot of laundry on shore before that, and it was super expensive. So having the facility to put this kind of equipment on the boat is a big difference in our lives. And of course, it's much more affordable because it's home-based systems, which makes a difference in all of our lives. Now, getting back to price, of course, the $1,500 you might spend on a marine system, I spent $1,500 on all 3 of our systems. I got a 4.7 foot Cobalance fridge, we got a 5 cubic foot Electrohome freezer, and we also have the just under 2 cubic foot portable BougeRV system as our ultimate backup that we can take anywhere. And all 3 of those come in at a price less than 1 marine refrigeration system. So that is a consideration right there. So again, at the end of the day, some of you might be asking, well, why am I showing you all this? Basically, I'm showing it to you because I've got almost 20 years experience on this boat alone with systems functioning as you would want them to in a household, but on a boat, a floating mobile environment. And there are certain challenges in that, including cost. So my job, I consider, to be able to educate you guys in things that are going to help you make better educated decisions, not only in which equipment is best, but what's most affordable that you can actually afford to put on your boat or your RV or your tiny home or whatever. This is not a mega yacht, it's only a 50-foot sailboat, but I've still found ways to implement this type of gear into the boat that severely or significantly enhances our lifestyle on board. And it's not just this system, we're just talking about refrigeration now. I have many systems that I can talk to you about in the future, which of course we're going to, but this is what I wanted to start with today. And it makes a big difference, of course, in our galley as well. So it makes us a lot more efficient when we have a lot more people on board. And that's a big plus. So I hope you learned something today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did learn something, you liked it, well, be sure and like the video, share it with your friends, and I hope to see you again in the next one. So thanks again for watching as always. Take care out there, and I'll see you in the next episode. Ciao for now.